They presented it like salesmen. You know, they pitched us.
You can have nice cars and you can have nice girls and respect and guns and protection, all for the small price of a good beatdown.
Eric Crowder and Jemiah Graham had known each other since grade school. They dreamt of a better life than the ones they lived on the rough streets of Sylmar, California. The lure of joining a gang as a way to succeed was always a temptation. So, in spite of the dangers and the initiation beating they would have to endure, Eric and Jemiah were ready to swallow the bait.
How could it sway you when you were in a family?
Mom and Dad not here, you know, we can look to these as our big brothers because I don't have no big brothers.
And so those salesmen, you know, the gang leaders who said, here, come join us, they pitch family. You know, we're here for you.
And we got initiated into the same gang on the same day.
And often when we went out to do what we call dirt, you know, commit crimes and drive-by shootings and robberies, etc., that was our motivation, you know, pop in that gangster rap CD or pop in that gangster rap tape where it talks about killing someone or, you know, getting high, and we would smoke our weed and drink our liquor, and that would just fuel the rage.
Eric and Jemiah began writing their own raps to go along with their crimes.
We often call it our theme song or what they call an anthem, you know. It was our anthem, you know, it's the gangster's anthem.
At the age of 14, Jemiah's gangster lifestyle hit a wall when he participated in a drive-by shooting. He was arrested and charged with attempted murder. Jemiah was facing a possible sentence of up to 14 years.
The reality set in when I was sitting in a cell and I recognized that this is not a plaything anymore. You know, games are over now. And seeing the lifestyle that I was leading was really destroying not only my life, but those who love me. I really started to consider a different way.
When a man came to speak to the inmates, Jemiah says that he was impressed with how he carried himself and by what he said.
And so he told us his testimony, how he was very much like we were. But he came to the juvenile hall with a message that Jesus Christ can change you. And that really was the seed that was planted that helped me to realize that I needed help. And the only way out of the gang life was through Jesus Christ and his love. And I said, you know what? When I leave here, the gang is staying locked up. The gang is staying incarcerated. And so I had that much strength and boldness. So when I got out, I was through with the gang, but I wasn't saved yet.
Meanwhile, Eric was also beginning to have second thoughts about the gang lifestyle.
What made you want out?
I knew the lifestyle that I was living, that's where it was going to lead me. You know, either going to lead me there to jail or, you know, dying and going to hell. I mean, here I am. I was a 17-year-old man, a young man, thinking about death.
Eric wanted to know how he could live a different life. A chance conversation gave him the answer to his question.
And I'm like, this guy talked to me about Jesus. And I had an ear to hear him because it was something that my soul was just thirsty for. I needed to hear that. It was like, man, so that's the way out.
The man ended the conversation by inviting Eric to go to his church. After serving a reduced sentence of 2 years, Jemiah was released. Although he was out of the gang, he still had to look over his shoulder.
There were going to be people from my gang who were going to see me, and if I wasn't representing and claiming, you know, they were either going to beat me up to get me out or kill me. Then I had enemies who I had, you know, done atrocities against.
Jemiah met with a man who counseled youth coming out of prison.
He began to witness to me on his spare time and tell me about Jesus and how he used to be an alcoholic and into gangs and how Jesus helped him to change his life. And he began to minister that to me, and he invited me to his church. So I said, okay, I'll come with you.
Eric and Jemiah arranged a meeting, but Jemiah wasn't sure what would happen. Eric had joined another gang years earlier, and the two friends had become enemies.
I rapped the song to him, and then he rapped to me about God. And I was like, is this the same Jemiah I know, you know? And then later on, God just started dealing with me. It just convicted me, man. And then one morning, I just called him. I said, man, I want to go to church with you, you know? I know it's Sunday. I want to go with you, you know? I'm tired of this. And I knew that was the place to be, you know, to get my help. So when I went, I called him, and he was like, I'm going to church with somebody else. And I was like, you know what? If this guy's really Christian, he's going to allow me to come too.
When they walked into the church, Eric was surprised to see
the guy who invited me was sitting there in the front row, and we went with the guy who invited him. Yeah. So it was all God's plan and orchestration to send us to the same place at the same time.
Invited by two separate people.
Two separate people. They didn't know they was witnessing to us or anything. So it was all God's plan to bring us to the same setting, to the same place, and we end up getting saved on the same day. We end up getting baptized. We got born again of the water and spirit on the same day. So God did everything on that same day. And mind you, we were initiated into the same gang on the same day. And then God saved us on the same day.
I can remember after I was baptized, after I repented and asked the Lord to come into my life and got saved, and someone walked up to me and he said, I just had a smile on my face. You know, I hadn't smiled in a long time. I had a big smile, but my cheeks were just frozen. And he said, how do you feel? And I couldn't even answer. I was just so happy.
When he changed me, when he saved me, that not only did I see a difference, you know, in my actions, in my mindset, he changed all of that. He when he washed me and he filled me with his spirit, he let me know that he was real. So if that much was real, that means what he's saying in his word is real. And I wanted to apply myself just to that.
Eric and Jemai eagerly began studying the Bible and going to school. Eventually, their old habit of rapping about their gangsta lifestyle took a turn to rapping about how God changed their lives. They formed a gospel hip-hop group and named it Catch 2, in honor of how God caught both of them out of a dead-end lifestyle and brought them into new life through Jesus Christ.
God reached out and caught two of us out at the same time and then sent us out as fishers of men to catch others through the spiritual fishing pole of gospel rap.
You know, it was like, hey, you know, we here to represent Jesus. We represented the hood as hard as we could. So now we're going to represent Jesus. So we took it to him. When I got saved, then I began to have a relationship, form a relationship with him where he can, you know, mold me and create me over, you know, because I needed to be created over.
I think the ultimate difference was not just in the feeling, but in an assurance, knowing that it's a changed life going on, that we cannot be the same.